Shinobu. Here is a true story. A few years ago, a Japanese train company made a public apology because a train left the station 20 seconds early.
20 seconds. Not late, early. And they still said sorry.
20 seconds! Visitors cannot believe it. So today, why are Japanese trains never late? Let's find out.
Welcome to Japan with Ninjas, the podcast where we explore Japanese culture in slow, easy English.
I'm Hikari, and I love this topic because it makes visitors' jaws drop every single time.
And I'm Shinobu. Today, the famous punctuality of Japanese trains. How it really works, why it exists, and the honest downside people rarely talk about.
And this connects to our very first episode about how quiet Japanese trains are. Today, the other half of the story.
First, how punctual are they, really? For the Shinkansen, the bullet train, the average delay is under 1 minute per train across the entire year.
Under 1 minute for the whole year? And that includes typhoons and earthquakes?
It includes everything. And here is what surprises people most. In Japan, a train is considered late if it arrives 1 minute after the schedule. 1 minute.
In many countries, 5 or even 10 minutes still counts as on time. 1 minute is a completely different standard.
And there is a famous piece of paper you can get. If a train is late by 5 minutes or more, the station staff hand out a chien shomeisho, a delay certificate.
A certificate that proves the train was late? What do people do with it?
They show it at work or school to prove the delay was not their fault. And they are printed by the thousands, ready to go, because the system expects to apologize.
A whole official document just for being 5 minutes late. That tells you everything about the standard here. Okay, so how do they actually do it? There must be tricks behind the scenes.
Several. The first is the timetable itself. Japanese train schedules are written in units of 15 seconds, not minutes. Every single stop is planned down to the quarter minute.
15 seconds? So the driver isn't just aiming for about 9:15, they're aiming for exactly 9:15 and 30 seconds.
Exactly. Drivers carry a stopwatch and a detailed schedule, and they adjust their speed constantly to stay on the second.
And there's that thing drivers do with their hands, right? I've seen them pointing at things and talking to themselves.
That is Shisa kanko, pointing and calling. The driver points at a signal and says out loud what it is. Signal, green, even when nobody else is there.
It looks a little funny at first, but there must be a reason.
A very good one. Studies have found that pointing and calling can cut mistakes dramatically by up to around 85%. Moving your hand and speaking wakes up your brain. You cannot do it on autopilot.
85%? From just pointing and saying it out loud? That's incredible!
Next secret, the cleaning. On the Shinkansen, a team of cleaners has just 7 minutes to clean an entire train between arrival and departure.
7 minutes for hundreds of seats, turning every seat around, wiping the tables, checking the toilets. And I hear they bow.
They line up and bow to the train as it arrives, and bow again to the passengers when the work is done. The team is so famous that people around the world call it the 7-minute miracle.
And the passengers help, don't they? I always see people lining up so neatly.
That is the hidden secret. Marks on the platform show exactly where each door will stop. People line up in 2 neat lines and let others off first. Boarding takes seconds instead of minutes.
So it's not only the railway company, the passengers are part of the machine. But Shinobu, why does Japan care about time this much in the first place? Where does it come from?
It is not as old as you might think. Japan's clock culture really grew during modernization, about 150 years ago, when factories and railways needed everyone on the same schedule.
So it's fairly modern. Then why did it become so extreme here and not everywhere?
Because it connected to something older, the idea that being late steals someone else's time. In Japan, time is not only yours, it belongs to the group.
Just like the cleaning episode, if I am late, someone else is standing there waiting for me. It's the same idea. Think of the other person.
Exactly the same route. And it shows up everywhere in daily life. In Japan, if a meeting starts at 9, most people arrive by 8:50. Arriving exactly on time can feel a little late.
5 minutes early is on time. I know foreign friends who got a shock learning that rule.
And schools teach it too. Children are trained from a young age to line up, move together, and start exactly on time. By adulthood, it is simply how the world feels.
Okay, but let's be honest too. Is there a downside to all this?
There is, and I think we should say it, pressure. When the standard is perfection, a small mistake feels enormous, and the stress on workers can be very heavy.
That's an important point. Perfect trains have a human cost behind them.
And Japan has learned some hard lessons about pushing too far for the schedule. Today, there is much more focus on safety first and on protecting the people who run the system.
And even Japanese trains do get delayed sometimes, right? It's not magic.
Of course. Typhoons, earthquakes, heavy snow, accidents. When a big delay happens, it can be very crowded and confusing. Punctual does not mean perfect.
Okay, practical tips. If our listeners ride a train in Japan, what should they know?
3 things. First, arrive early, because the doors really do close exactly on time. Second, stand on the marks and let people off before you get on.
And the third?
If your train is delayed and you need proof for work or school, just ask the staff for a delay certificate. They will hand it to you with an apology.
Recap time. In Japan, a train is late after just 1 minute, and the average bullet train delay is under 1 minute for the entire year.
Behind it, timetables planned in 15-second units, drivers with stopwatches, and Shisa kanko, pointing and calling, which cuts mistakes dramatically.
Plus, the 7-minute miracle cleaning crews and passengers who line up on the door marks and let others off first.
The deeper reason? Being late is seen as taking someone else's time. And in Japan, 5 minutes early is on time.
But we said the honest part too. Perfection puts real pressure on real people. Even a great system has a cost.
So the next time you catch a train in Japan, look at the clock as the doors close. It will be exactly on time. Someone worked very hard for that.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and give us a like. It helps more curious travelers and English learners find us. And today's question, Are trains in your country usually on time or always late? And how late is too late where you live? Tell us in the comments.
Next time, another journey into the heart of Japan. Until then, take care of your time and other people's too.
See you next time on Japan with Ninjas. Mata ne!